Do you remember cruising down the highway with the radio turned up, singing along to your favorite rock anthems? We all have those tracks that make us feel invincible. But what if the melodies you were dancing to were actually hiding something sinister? Behind the upbeat guitars and catchy choruses, some artists were secretly singing about stalkers, tragic accidents, and deep depression. These are not just classic hits. They are masterclasses in deception, revealing the brilliant misunderstandings and the hidden pain that the whole world sang along to without ever realizing the truth. Today, we are counting down 10 famous rock songs with surprisingly dark meanings. Number 10. Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen, 1984. Imagine the 4th of July, fireworks lighting up the sky, and millions of Americans pumping their fists to a booming stadium anthem. It is a testament to the absolute genius of Bruce Springsteen that he created a track so musically victorious while carrying such a profound message. Springsteen originally wrote this piece as a haunting acoustic blues tribute. It was a deeply empathetic story about his friends returning from the Vietnam War. But to make sure this important message reached the masses, the E Street Band transformed it. They bathed the track in glittering synthesizers, and Max Weinberg laid down a legendary heavy drum beat. The result was pure rock perfection. The brilliant musical arrangement was so uplifting and proud that it became an instant global phenomenon. Even politicians wanted a piece of its magic. People heard the soaring chorus and felt an undeniable surge of hope and resilience. Today, this track stands as a masterpiece of songwriting. It proves that a song can make you dance in a stadium full of thousands of people while still holding a deeply meaningful story inside. It is incredibly ambitious and a true crown jewel of the 1980s. Before we move on to our next masterpiece, there are millions of music lovers out there who deserve to know the brilliant depth behind the songs that shaped their youth. By hitting the subscribe button and sharing this video with a friend, you are doing a wonderful deed. You are helping preserve the rich history of rock and roll and honoring the incredible artistry of these legends. Let us keep this time machine running together. Number 9. One Way or Another by Blondie, 1978. A pulsing bass line and an unforgettable punk rock attitude hit you like a wave. It is fascinating how one of the most energetic and empowering anthems of the late 1970s was born from a truly terrifying real-life experience. The brilliant Debbie Harry was being relentlessly pursued by a stalker. Instead of letting fear dictate her life, she took total control of the narrative. She flipped the script and wrote this masterpiece from the perspective of the predator. By singing with such fierce confidence and playful rebellion, she completely stripped the stalker of his power. She transformed a dark chapter of her life into an absolute triumph of artistic expression. The production perfectly captured this fearless spirit. The driving guitars mimic a relentless chase, yet the delivery is so catchy that you cannot help but dance. It is a brilliant psychological trick disguised as a pop-punk classic. Today, this incredible track is universally celebrated. It has become the ultimate soundtrack for teen comedies and joyful movie montages. The world dances to a song about a stalker because Debbie Harry had the genius to turn her vulnerability into an indestructible shield of pure rock and roll joy. It remains a legendary testament to human resilience. Number 8. Jump by Van Halen, 1984.
Can't you see what I mean?
A tense television news broadcast is an unlikely place to find the ultimate anthem of joy. Lead singer David Lee Roth was watching a news report about a man standing on a ledge. It was a moment of profound human despair. Yet, with absolute artistic brilliance, Roth took that heavy tension and completely transformed it. He flipped the narrative from a literal tragic leap into a metaphorical leap of faith.
Standing here, I got my back against the wrecking machine.
He turned a dark situation into an incredibly empowering call to take chances in life and love. To match this towering optimism, Eddie Van Halen made a bold and polarizing choice. He stepped away from his traditional rock roots to play a glittering synthesizer.
Maxwell, jump, jump.
While some traditional fans were puzzled at first, this production quirk was a stroke of sheer genius. It bridged the gap between hard rock and pop, creating an instantly recognizable, radiant sound that conquered global radio. It is a brilliant example of a band daring to evolve.
Oh, hey you! Who said that? Baby, how you been?
Decades later, this surprisingly enduring track remains a universal symbol of victory. You can hear it echoing through sports arenas around the world, inspiring athletes and fans alike to push their limits. Van Halen proved that true musical magic happens when you forge the darkest moments of reality into an eternal source of motivation.
You say you don't know, you won't know.
Number 7. Slide by Goo Goo Dolls, 1998.
Yeah, we're gonna let it slide.
It is a mark of true songwriting genius when a band can take a profoundly heavy subject and turn it into a flawless summer anthem. Lead singer Johnny Rzeznik crafted this beautiful track around a highly sensitive narrative. It tells the story of a young teenage girl raised in a strict religious household, desperately grappling with an unplanned pregnancy and the terrifying thought of running away.
Suppose I'll ever know. So means to be a man.
Instead of making a dark and brooding ballad, the band made a brilliant, artistic choice. Rzeznik used a unique alternate guitar tuning to create an incredibly bright and shimmering acoustic sound. This radiant musical arrangement deliberately masked the desperation in the lyrics, wrapping a story of fear in a blanket of pure sonic warmth.
I live around here. I wanna wake up where you are.
The sheer beauty of the melody completely captivated the world. Millions of people drove down the highway with their windows down, passionately singing along to the chorus. They embraced it as a joyful celebration of life and love. The band successfully smuggled a heartbreaking story onto mainstream radio, and absolutely no one suspected a thing.
So why don't you slide?
Decades after its release, this track remains a shining pillar of 1990s alternative rock. When fans finally discover the true meaning behind the words, their appreciation for the band only grows deeper. It proves that the most magnificent rock songs are often the ones carrying the deepest human complexities. Number 6. Today by the Smashing Pumpkins, 1993. It takes an immense amount of courage to turn your darkest hour into a beacon of light for others. Frontman Billy Corgan wrote this mesmerizing track during one of the lowest points of his life. He was struggling with severe depression and had reached a breaking point. Yet with absolute artistic brilliance, he channeled that overwhelming pain into a breathtaking piece of music. The production of this track is a masterclass in emotional contrast. Corgan insisted on opening with a delicate bell-like guitar riff before letting a massive wall of distorted sound crash in. That sonic explosion perfectly captured the chaotic release of heavy emotions. It was a bold and deeply vulnerable musical choice. Millions of teenagers connected with that raw honesty. They embraced the soaring melody and turned it into an anthem of profound hope and survival. The world heard a beautiful, healing rock song, and in return, the love from the fans helped save Corgan himself. Generations of rock fans still find immense comfort in these uplifting chords. The track stands as a monumental achievement in alternative rock, proving that even the deepest despair can be forged into a timeless celebration of being alive. The Smashing Pumpkins created a musical sanctuary that will endure forever. Number 5. Maxwell's Silver Hammer by the Beatles, 1969.
Bang, bang, Maxwell, silver hammer.
It is a stroke of pure theatrical genius to mask a terrifying story behind a ridiculously cheerful melody. Paul McCartney composed this whimsical track to sound almost like a bouncy nursery rhyme. But hiding beneath the sunny chords is a chilling narrative about a medical student who uses a silver hammer to take down his victims.
C31 said we got a dirty one.
McCartney was an absolute perfectionist. He wanted the recording to sound flawlessly crisp and bright to create the ultimate psychological contrast. The band even brought a real blacksmith anvil into the studio, striking it with a heavy hammer to create a perfectly timed and authentic sound effect. This relentless dedication resulted in a masterfully crafted piece of sonic storytelling. While some critics at the time completely misunderstood the humor, millions of fans absolutely adored the charming weirdness of it all. It is a brilliant display of how the Beatles could push the boundaries of pop music, blending macabre themes with vaudeville entertainment. More than 50 years later, this darkly comedic masterpiece continues to delight and surprise listeners. McCartney proved that a legendary rock band does not always have to be serious to be profound. The track remains a phenomenally clever artistic experiment that paved the way for modern dark comedy in pop culture.
Bang, bang, Maxwell, silver hammer.
Number 4. I Don't Like Mondays by the Boomtown Rats, 1979.
Tell me why I don't like Monday.
A ticking telex machine in a sunny California radio station unexpectedly delivered a chilling piece of news. A 16-year-old girl had just committed a senseless act of violence at a local schoolyard. When authorities asked for her motive, she simply stated she did not like Mondays. Frontman Bob Geldof was profoundly struck by the cold emptiness of that answer.
No reasons, what reason do you need to be sure?
What makes this track a masterpiece of musical storytelling is how the band chose to frame that tragedy. Instead of releasing an aggressive punk rock rant, they went in a surprisingly sophisticated direction. Keyboardist Johnny Fingers crafted a grandiose, sweeping piano arrangement that sounded like a theatrical Broadway production.
I don't like Mondays, I wanna shoot.
This deliberately upbeat and dramatic musical disguise was a stroke of genius. It perfectly highlighted the baffling absurdity of the crime. While some radio stations in the United States found the subject too sensitive and banned it, the United Kingdom embraced the song, sending it straight to number 1.
And you can see no reasons, 'cause there are no reasons.
As a cultural milestone, this ambitious track pioneered a new way to write pop music. The Boomtown Rats proved that artists could take the most harrowing social issues and turn them into deeply compelling art. It remains a powerful reminder of how a brilliant pop song can force society to confront its darkest realities.
I don't like Monday.
Number 3. Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind, 1997. A perfect summer drive always requires an unforgettable soundtrack. When that incredibly catchy melody first hit the airwaves, the entire world instantly fell in love with its blinding optimism. Yet the absolute brilliance of frontman Stephen Jenkins was how he used that infectious sunshine to disguise a devastating reality. He crafted a shockingly raw narrative about the destructive grip of crystal meth addiction. Instead of writing a slow and depressing ballad, the band made a highly sophisticated artistic choice. They intentionally cranked up the tempo and built an incredibly bright pop-rock sound. This was a deliberate and masterful psychological technique. The rushing guitars and breathless vocals perfectly simulated the artificial manic high of the substance itself. It is a brilliant audio illusion. Radio stations and millions of teenagers blasted it constantly, completely captivated by the undeniable joy of the rhythm. The band managed to smuggle one of the darkest subjects imaginable onto mainstream radio without losing an ounce of its musical charm. They turned a painful truth into a celebration of survival. Looking back at this defining 1990s anthem, the sheer cleverness of its construction is awe-inspiring. It stands as a towering achievement in alternative rock, proving that a band can deliver a profound and gritty story while still making the whole world dance. This is pure songwriting magic. Number 2. Alive by Pearl Jam, 1991. It is a profoundly beautiful phenomenon when an audience takes a heartbreaking personal tragedy and transforms it into a universal anthem of triumph. Lead singer Eddie Vedder penned these lyrics to process a deeply painful family secret from his childhood. The iconic chorus declaring he was still alive was originally meant to express the heavy burden of carrying a painful truth.
Now I can't see, I just stay.
To elevate this deeply personal confession, the band constructed a towering stadium rock sound. Guitarist Mike McCready delivered an absolutely legendary and soaring guitar solo that radiated pure pride and energy. This monumental musical arrangement created a fascinating contrast with the vulnerable lyrics offering a brilliant sonic disguise.
Have I got a little story for you?
When millions of fans heard the track, they completely embraced the triumphant energy of the music. In stadiums around the world, massive crowds raised their fists and screamed the chorus as a fearless declaration of survival. They did not hear a curse. They heard a miraculous reason to keep fighting. The sheer power of that collective joy eventually healed the artist himself. Vedder realized the fans had lifted his heavy burden and breathed magnificent new life into his creation. It stands as a glorious testament to the magic of rock and roll, where shared music can turn an individual wound into an indestructible shield for an entire generation.
I can't remember anything but this.
Number 1. Every Breath You Take by The Police, 1983.
Since you're gone, I've been lost without a trace.
It is the ultimate crown jewel of musical deception. When this breathtaking track was released, the entire world fell completely in love. Millions of couples have chosen it as their first dance at weddings, completely mesmerized by its seemingly romantic devotion. Yet the absolute genius of frontman Sting lies in how he crafted a haunting narrative about obsession and control, but dressed it up in the most beautiful melody imaginable.
I'm dreaming that I can only see your face.
Written during a period of intense personal heartbreak, Sting channeled his darker feelings of jealousy into the lyrics. He wrote from the perspective of a possessive watcher. However, the real magic happened in the studio, Guitarist Andy Summers laid down a cascading, glittering guitar riff that completely softened the menacing words. That brilliant musical arrangement was a stroke of absolute perfection. It wrapped a cold and obsessive story in a warm embrace of pure pop brilliance. The band created an audio illusion so flawless that even decades of explaining the true meaning cannot break its romantic spell over the public. As the greatest triumph in the history of pop rock, this masterpiece proves that a flawless melody will always conquer all. The Police gave the world a captivating psychological thriller, perfectly disguised as the greatest love song of the 20th century. It is a stunning artistic achievement that will reign supreme forever. Tonight, we have traveled through the ultimate musical illusions. From a stalker's obsessive confession playing at millions of weddings, to the bouncing silver hammer of a serial killer, and a devastating addiction perfectly disguised as a bright summer pop rock anthem. These masterpieces prove that the most radiant melodies often hide the deepest human complexities. Music truly is the most beautiful disguise we have. To help keep this time machine running, please hit that subscribe button. And I have to ask you, which of these hidden stories shattered your childhood memories the most? Let me know in the comments below.